let me show you how I make my garlic knots. These are my pepperoni garlic knots that I shape into like a wreath because I feel like it's just so festive for the holiday season and they're so easy to make. Now, I went ahead and made my own dough, and in the description down below, you will have the exact measurements for what makes one ball that is 1 pound of pizza dough, or you could just buy a 1 pound ball of pizza dough. But it's just requiring basic ingredients like flour, yeast, sugar, a little salt, a little olive oil, and some water. And I went ahead and pull this together by hand just because it was such a small amount. Like I said, I was just making a 1 pound ball. I went ahead and just kneaded it by hand. And you just literally gather everything together, and you just start kneading with the palm of your hand, pushing it back and pulling it towards you until it's really nice and smooth. I also want to remind you that these kinds of videos are always in addition to my regular content and never in place of, and you're going to get so much amazing content in the next few weeks. I just can't wait for you to see it. Once the dough comes together, I brush it with a little bit of olive oil, and then I just cover it and allow that to rise for about an hour and a half or so, or until it's about doubled in volume. You want it to be nicely risen. Take your time with this. Don't rush the process because remember, it's cold out, so it's going to take a little longer than usual. Cover it and let it rise. Once it's there, you're going to go ahead and dice up some mozzarella. This is that vacuum sealed mozzarella that you get in your deli section. It is not the wet kind that's sitting in like a milk or a water, because that's just going to make your dough way too soggy. This is the right mozz for this. So go ahead and give that a nice little dice. And once your dough is ready, deflate it, get it out of the bowl onto a floured surface. And I went ahead and just pulled it together with my hands and just stretched it out. You can use a rolling pin if you want to, but this was such a small amount, it was just fine doing it by hand. And then I cut each piece into 16 pieces. So I just go 8 and 8, and then you do the same thing to the other piece. And then you just take a piece of pepperoni if you're using, and a piece of cheese, and you wrap it around a little square of dough and just pull it together to seal it as best you can, but don't worry about it. It will turn out just fine. Once you have it all together, you're going to set them aside. And then I take a 12-inch like metal round roasting pan, and I don't have one that has like the hole in the center, so I just take a ramekin and wrap it in some aluminum foil and just place that into the center. Place all of your garlic knots in there and make sure you cover them and let them rest for about 45 minutes before baking them at 425 for about 20 minutes. Right as they're about ready to come out of the oven, take some garlic. I like to grate that on a fine grater. Add a little bit of olive oil, mix it together, and as soon as those garlic knots come out, you're going to go ahead and brush that mixture all over the top, and that's what gives you like that garlicky flavor. And then make sure you sprinkle it really well with some Parmesan cheese, and I also sprinkled some dry Italian herbs on the top, and I just like to put a few leaves of basil. It makes it look so much more festive. And if you're really feeling fancy, a little bow just to enhance that wreath-like appearance. And then make sure you put a little marinara sauce in the center, and you're pretty much good to go. You can just dive right in. Everybody pulls apart a piece that they want. It's so delicious. Everyone loves garlic knots, and they're a really easy way to dress up a holiday table. I hope that you make these. Like I said, they are easy and delicious, and I just know that you will love them. Bye!